I hate my roommate. Hello, this is my first formal Reddit post as a 26-year-old male, so please bear with me. I'm writing because I have developed a significant amount of resentment. 2 years ago, I relocated to another country with my brother, whom I didn't particularly enjoy living with, but I miss him dearly now that he moved back last April. I knew my friend, a 28-year-old female, was searching for a new place to live with her fiancé, who is also 28. I do not have family or long-term friends here. In fact, this friend is someone I was acquainted with from university in my home country. We did not interact much until I moved here and sought new friendships. On the positive side, they generally pay their share on time, and I can rely on them to do so. However, I must mention that they owe me $182 from a time when they could not afford to pay in full. I have refrained from asking for this money, considering they are preparing for a wedding and are a bit financially constrained. Another positive aspect is that we both allow one another the freedom to invite guests over and let them stay without any issues. The spaciousness of our place is also a plus. Now, to discuss the negatives, our friend group has encountered some challenges. We had a few minor issues during the summer, but nothing too serious. She invited friends over to our home, and when they were mutual acquaintances, most of whom I had met through her, she would exclude me with excuses like, "It's a girls' night," only for her fiancé to join later, which I felt was insincere, or state that she wanted to spend time only with them, leaving me out. I found it confusing and felt hurt by being pushed away from socializing with people I knew in my own house. Once, I mentioned this to one of her friends, who seemed baffled by the situation as well. They were not discussing anything personal, so the atmosphere grew tense. The significant issues began when my friend invited a mutual acquaintance to stay with us for a few days. I was excited to see her since I had known her for a long time, but she was closer to my roommate than to me. I had even offered her a place to stay when she expressed interest in studying in this country. However, whenever I attempted to engage in conversation with her, my roommate would immediately become silent, frowning and distractedly focusing on something else. I would bring up conversation topics, but responses were minimal. Sometimes my friend spoke to me briefly, but it felt very awkward. The moment I left the room, laughter and conversation would erupt. During the rare moments I had a chance to be alone with her, we enjoyed ourselves, but nothing happened when my roommate was present. So I took the time to reflect. I wondered if perhaps I was being overbearing. I was genuinely thrilled to see someone familiar after a long absence, so I decided to give them space. I left for the weekend, telling them they had the place to themselves. Upon returning, I had around 30 minutes before heading to work for the entire day. I went to the living room with my meal to spend time with them. A minute later, they decided to go smoke in her room, despite the balcony being right next to us. At that moment, I realized I was being excluded. I struggled with the feeling of being treated poorly and questioned whether I was simply saying foolish things in their presence, perhaps making my friend uncomfortable. I didn't know. Later, she texted me, suggesting we needed to talk. When we did, she crossed a line that still confuses me. She stated that when she invites her friends, it is her time with them, and she only wants to spend time with them and anyone she includes. She expressed that my presence was only welcome if she invited me as well. I was taken aback. I reminded her that these were my friends too, not just hers. If they were merely her friends, I would fully understand, but they are my friends in my home, and I wanted to talk to them for at least a few minutes. She insisted that she felt possessive of her friends, and she used the word possessive specifically, and that she preferred a different dynamic when it was just them, so I was to keep my distance. I was astounded. I told her how much her actions had hurt me, and that I had to say goodbye to my friend via WhatsApp, as she wouldn't let me do it in person. She shrugged it off, claiming that was not her intention, so I presumed that was acceptable to her. I agreed only to come over when invited, but deep down, I meant that I would never participate in any of her social events again, which I have adhered to since. Even when she eventually invited me, I declined. I had no desire to be around someone who did not value my presence, who hurt me, and who made me feel pathetic in front of a friend. Matters worsened when I broke my foot a month later. I went to the emergency room alone because I did not trust her. After receiving a cast, I asked her fiancé for help upon returning home. He carried me on his back the grueling distance since the taxi could not drop me off right at my door. She assisted a bit at the end, although she was not feeling great herself. Once home, I needed to figure out how to manage my life independently, as I did not trust her anymore. I knew I would need help with some things, but I was unprepared. I received no assistance whatsoever, absolutely none. I requested their support in getting crutches from the pharmacy when they reopened, explaining that I needed them to get to work and discuss my situation with my supervisor. They did nothing. I had to hop on one leg until I could find a cab and go get crutches on my own. Ultimately, my job allowed me to work from home without any issues while I recovered. I didn't want to stop working due to a broken foot. I even handled cooking, cleaning my plate, etc. As I dislike imposing on others, but also because I no longer trusted her and wanted minimal interaction. Then came the moment that made me visibly angry with her. She reached out to me for the first time in a while with a voice note, both of us were home, asking how my foot was, and in that same voice note, she abruptly queried how I planned to clean the house that week. I was mortified. I was using 2 crutches and could not vacuum, let alone mop. The house was clean, as we had maintained it weekly for months. I assumed they would cut me some slack. However, she responded, "Okay, that makes sense. We will find someone to clean the house together, don't worry." A day later, she criticized me for the table being disgusting. I had left a Pringles can, a dirty plate, and a cup for a few hours, claiming it was my responsibility to clean it since I caused the mess. I angrily hopped over and confronted her. Yes, I left the plate, Pringles, and cup there myself, but they haven't helped me at all since the day they carried me home. However, I thought we would work on cleaning the house together, right? Days went by without a response. When she asked if I had found someone to clean the house, I said I expected we would do it together, since I didn't know anyone to call in, and she agreed. But then she exploded, stating it was solely my responsibility and I had to take care of it. At that point, I had reached my limit. I told her to be quiet and that I would handle it all myself. I found someone, paid her, and had the house cleaned. When she inquired about the cost, I refused to accept her money, knowing she would hold it over my head, despite the fact she still owed me money. I have come to understand the type of person she truly is. I am incredibly angry with her. I want to convince myself that I am not filled with resentment and that I've moved on to a stage where there is no conflict, given that we avoid interacting completely and I follow the rules. However, that is not the case. The most disappointing aspect is that she is not even particularly clean herself. I forgot to take out the trash on Christmas, feeling down since it was my first Christmas without family, and she scolded me for it. Then, 2 weeks later, she forgot. I gently reminded her to take out the trash, suggesting I had bought new trash bags for when we needed to change it, yet she still failed to do so. I remained silent, knowing she was aware I noticed her inconsistency, which further frustrated me. One day she approached me and said, "You don't have to take out the trash this week." I found her attitude infuriating. She has also neglected to clean the house multiple times, even when I informed her I had guests the following day and directly asked her if she planned to clean anytime soon, to which she responded affirmatively. Had the roles been reversed, I would have undoubtedly faced her wrath. I just needed to vent. I apologize for the lengthy text, but I am genuinely frustrated. She has made me feel terrible, and although there is a sense of peace now since I disregard the rules, which she established, the erosion of trust and her constant hypocrisy continue to fuel my anger. By the way, I recently discovered that when she was complaining about me behind my back, she labeled me autistic for not recognizing her subtle cues regarding her possessiveness with friends from the beginning. Story 2. Am I the a-hole? And do I call myself a virgin, not a virgin, or create a whole new category? I need the internet to come together and help me determine what I should call myself, because the universe just played the most cruel, once-in-a-lifetime cosmic prank on me. There I was, actively avoiding the self-absorbed individuals, the ones who boast about their anatomy like it's a limited edition collectible but never truly provide any genuine connection, the ones who vanish after intimacy and make you feel like a mere bystander in their life's narrative. I thought, no, I will choose someone who isn't a glaring warning sign. I believed I had made an astute choice. I thought I had selected a respectable guy. But no, the universe looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Oh, you don't wish to be taken advantage of. Challenge accepted. Here's a nervous, self-destructive individual who will personally grant you an all-access pass to sexual frustration. You don't want to be used. How about receiving absolutely nothing instead? Enjoy your feminist icon. And oh boy, did I get one. This guy was so committed to gender equality, so modern, that he handed me my very own set of blue balls. Seriously, forget all those male sob stories about being led on. This man did it to his own self. He blue-balled himself and dragged me along like collateral damage. The frustration was fully equitable. I didn't get a man who exploited me. I got a man who couldn't even exploit himself. Ladies and gentlemen, I have experienced blue balls without even having balls. This man was so devoted to gender equality that he didn't even allow me the privilege of complaining about men. Nope. Instead, he said, "Here, take some blue balls. You can enjoy sexual frustration just like I do." Equality, right? And let me tell you, I provided him the most beginner-friendly, step-by-step setup imaginable. I gave him comprehensive instructions with all the support included, yet he simply could not complete the task. All the build-up, all the effort, all the hand-holding, both literally and metaphorically, and the final result: nothing. He presented me with his anatomy as if it were a package from an online retailer and then checked out prematurely. And in that brief moment he did have it available, I doubt even a single inch of those 6 actually made contact. The effort-to-outcome ratio was so tragically low that I'm uncertain where to classify this experience. I am perplexed. Was he playing me? What was he even hoping to gain? My guy didn't even achieve his own gratification. And oh my goodness, he was so nervous. The moment he saw me, he began malfunctioning like an outdated laptop with numerous browser tabs open. He spent days lamenting how others flake and how women are all talk and no action, emphasizing how I needed to be absolutely certain before meeting up. So I thought, wow, this guy must be serious. I guess his signs of insecurity were evident. But come on, I was like, awa, he's a bit insecure adorable. He's not just some self-important individual. But the instant we arrived, his mind crashed harder than the stock market in 2008. If you're not feeling it, just say so. If you're not attracted, just say it. If you want to take it slow, just say it. You expect me to read your mind? I hardly touched him before he fell into a full-blown existential crisis. He acted as if I had transformed into Medusa and turned him to stone. And let's discuss the insecurity about his body nonsense. Like what? Sir, this is a casual encounter, not some hostage negotiation. What was he expecting? That I'd overlook his entire presence, don a blindfold, and tenderly stroke his ego and anatomy while he remained fully clothed like a Victorian widow. He genuinely thought he was magical, huh? Houdini-like behavior. Like, sir, do you think I'm going to suddenly lose interest in your body mid-encounter? At this point, I should feel offended by my own choices. Does he think I randomly select individuals off the street, feel sympathy, and decide to grace them with my attention? No way. I have taste. I have standards. I don't just distribute entry tickets like Willy Wonka. I chose him. At this juncture, I didn't lose my virginity, I misplaced it. It was right there in my grasp, and then he fumbled the opportunity so severely that it ascended into the astral plane. If sex had a tutorial, he failed the very first objective. If there were a competition for failing to follow through, he would have secured the gold medal. Do I check the virgin box, the non-virgin box, or do I just create a new category? Like, almost but not quite initiated into the sexual realm, courtesy of a self-sabotaging, insecure individual. And the most frustrating part, the absolute worst part, he didn't even have to do anything. He could have simply stopped overthinking, ceased the self-sabotaging behavior, avoided making me do mental gymnastics to reassure him, and just let it happen. But no, instead, he emotionally sped through his own downfall in record time. So yes, internet, assist me. Should I label myself a virgin, a half-virgin, a technical virgin, or should I discard the whole concept of labels entirely because apparently in the year 2025, not even sex can be guaranteed anymore? TLDR. I believed I had avoided the self-absorbed individuals and chosen a decent guy, but the universe presented me with a self-sabotaging, insecure individual who was so progressive that he handed me a set of blue balls without me even having balls. He spoke grandly but faltered like damp cardboard the moment we met. He spiraled into a full-blown existential crisis before I even touched him, kept his shirt on as if we were at a modest Victorian tea party, and then managed to fumble my virginity into oblivion. If sex were a video game, he failed the tutorial. If self-sabotage were an Olympic sport, he would be on the podium right now. So, Internet, what should I call myself? A virgin? Not a virgin. Or should I create a new category? Attempted but denied by a nervous wreck.